All right, what's going on, guys? Apparently, this is Don Lemon calling Larry Elder a Uncle Tom. Now, if you don't know what Uncle Tom is, you're gonna find out. It's just ridiculous.
So last night, I get an email from a friend who says, "Did you watch the Don Lemon show on CNN last night?" I'd rather stick needles in my eyeballs. No, I didn't watch the Don Lemon show.
Okay.
The only time I watch the Don Lemon show is when I know that Dennis Prager is going to be on. And it turns
Fair
out
enough.
Dennis Prager was on. And the issue was this hysteria over Donald Trump. And eventually the discussion was whether or not Donald Trump's presidency has unleashed
Okay.
anti-Semitism and racism in America. And of course, Prager thought it was nonsense. But then a very interesting thing happened. Prager invoked the name of the great Eldersky and said, well, Larry Elder happened to be black, and the only reason I'm mentioning that is because it's relevant for the conversation.
Yeah.
And he doesn't believe that Donald Trump has unleashed racism and anti-Semitism. And then I got called a few names by Mr. Lemon.
And we have plenty of Trump supporters on the air all the time. You're one of them, and you're on the air now.
Right, fine. I think that's terrific. I didn't talk about you, but I think the ratio, Larry Elder, a colleague of mine, who happens to be black, I think it's only relevant because we're talking about racism here, and doesn't think Trump has unleashed racism, did a CNN analysis, and it
Just
seems
because
that
he's
it
black, it
was
doesn't mean that
overwhelming.
he is aware, and it doesn't mean that he is smart.
Oh,
and
he's
with
very
it.
aware.
Yeah.
He's one of the brightest guys I know.
And it doesn't
whatever his
also
color.
mean that he.
Translation: just because he's black doesn't mean he agrees with me, which is fair. If just because he's black he doesn't agree with you, that's completely fair. But also, what he's trying to say is, when he says awake or in tune, basically he's trying to say, oh, because he doesn't agree with me, he's an idiot and he's just black. That's it. Like, he's basically saying, okay, he's black and he doesn't agree with me, but he's also an idiot for not agreeing with me. That's basically what he's saying when he says awake. Usually when people use these terms woke or awake, that just implies that they think they know everything. That's from my opinion. From everybody I've seen, I use that word. They usually think that they know everything. Let's keep going now.
Is not co-opted by certain things, and that he doesn't reap the benefits of us having a.
Not co-opted by certain things? What the bleep does that even mean? Let me tell you what it means. Don Lemon was calling me an Uncle Tom, but he's smart enough to know that calling me Uncle Tom might get him suspended if not fired. So he needed another word, but that's what he meant.
Oh.
And what Dennis was saying is,
Not gonna lie, I thought he actually said the word. But let's keep going.
of the pundits that were used either pro-Trump or anti-Trump on CNN, and Don Lemon cut him off, 96 of them were anti-Trump. 7 of them were pro-Trump. That's the point Dennis was trying to get in when Mr. Lemon cut him off.
And we have plenty of Trump supporters on the air all the time. You're one of them, and you're on the air now.
Right, fine. I think that's terrific. I didn't talk about you, but I think the ratio, Larry Elder, a colleague of mine, who happens to be black, I think it's only relevant because we're talking about racism here, and doesn't think Trump has unleashed racism, did a CNN analysis, and it
Just
seems
because
that
he's
it
black, it
was
doesn't mean that he is aware, and it doesn't mean that he is smart.
Oh,
and
he's
with
very
it.
aware.
Yeah.
He's
Just
one
like
of the
repeating the
brightest guys
video?
I know.
And it
whatever
doesn't
his
also
color.
mean that he is not co-opted by certain things, and that he doesn't reap the benefits of us having a.
Now let's talk a little bit about Mr. Lemon, shall we?
Oh, okay.
I was asked by a radio station earlier, did it bother me what he said? And I'm reminded about an exchange that took place in the book called The Fountainhead, Ayn Rand.
Okay.
And the hero of the book, Howard Rourke, was asked how he felt about somebody. Peter Keating was the guy that asked him, and they were kind of rivals. And Peter Keating said of Mr. Rourke, "What do you think of me?" And he said, "I don't." And that's how I feel about lightweights like Don Lemon and Mark Lamont Hill and Mike.
That's such a good response. When these guys talk about people on the conservative side, usually people on the conservative side, I don't see them attacking vigorously their adversary political pugnates. You know what I mean? Of course, political figures will attack each other. So I'm talking about people like Don Lemon and what's the other guy's name that he just said, Mark Lamont Hill. Like, those guys constantly attack the other side, but I don't usually see Larry Hoover. I said, oh my God, I said Larry Hoover, Larry Elder, Larry Elder I don't usually see him attacking these guys. And also, like, I just don't understand what makes it okay to imply that just because, you know, you think a certain way that other people are asleep and you're awake. I just don't understand that. Like a lot of the things that I see what's his name, Don Lemon say, they aren't really smart. They're pretty stupid, honestly. Usually when I see him talk, he just has the same Democratic liberal talking point. And it's just like some of them are valid to me because, you know, I'm like in between both liberal and conservative, but a lot of them are just stupid to me, especially during like the Black Lives Matter stuff. When people were bringing up black on black crime and all of that stuff, you're like, oh, that doesn't matter. You know, we're talking about this right now, and this is bad because of this, and this. You know, police brutality, all of that stuff. Even though statistically, police brutality is not a problem in the black community, but let's keep going. I just went on a little rant right there. I'm sorry. Let's just keep going.
Michael Eric Dyson, they're all the same. These are all educated people, tenured people in the cases of the ones that are at colleges, making six figures, perhaps even more than that, sitting around bitching and moaning and whining about how bad things are for other people. See, they were able to make it. Somehow, the thicket of racism, they were able to navigate through that. Somehow, they were able to cut down and deal with all of the institutional, systemic, structural racism that holds everybody else back. Didn't hold them back, of course, because they're talented, lucky. What's the analysis here? And I think it was the last time I was on Don Lemon's show, I happened to quote a poll that was taken by an organization called, I can't think of the name of the organization, or I thought of the name of the organization, it's called CNN. CNN Time did a poll in 1997. That's 20 years ago. They asked both black teens and white teens the following question. Is racism a major problem in America? Not too surprisingly, both the black teens and white teens said yes. But then they asked the following question of black teens. Is racism a big problem, a minor problem, or no problem in your own daily lives? 89% of the black teens said it was a little problem or no problem in my own daily life. And this is a real bombshell takeaway. Twice as many.
Most people that I know, at least black people that I know, do not experience racism on a day-to-day basis, if not at all. I have never, personally, this is just anecdotal. Me personally, I have never experienced a racial moment in my life, ever. Even when I get pulled over by the police, you know, if I follow the law, if I do, you know, all of the precautions, I am pretty much let off with a warning. Not even a ticket, a warning. So that's, I don't know. When I hear like all of this stuff systemic and all of this, I don't see it. I personally do not see it. And I don't know any other black people that actually do see it. They just talk about it. All I hear is talk. That's all I hear is just talk. But I never see people actually say that they experience this stuff. I just see them seeing it. Or not even seeing it. I just see them talking about it. That's literally all I see them talking about it. Like, I don't know. Let's keep going.
Many black teens, as White said, failure to take advantage of available opportunities is a bigger problem than racism. End of quote. That's a Time CNN poll 20 years ago. And you're telling me now racism is greater now than it was 20 years ago after the election and re-election of a black president? You see, victocrats like Don Lemon think that they're advancing the cause when in fact they're hurting the cause.
Hurting the cause.
They are enabling people like my friend Muhammad, not his real name. I grew up with Paul, knowing him since the second grade.
Okay. I think I watched enough of this so far. I think I get the gist of it. I don't want to watch the whole entire thing. If you guys want to watch the original video, it's going to be in the link in the description below. But pretty much my thoughts on this, Don Lemon, from what I've seen, not even just this clip, because he really didn't say anything in this clip, honestly. Just, you know, directed some stuff towards Larry Elder. But what I've seen of Don Lemon, he is an idiot. Personally, that's what I think. I know that. I think he got fired from CNN. Or not fired, but like he got moved to like another spot. Not prime time anymore. Now he's like in the morning, something like that. But all in all, I think that this whole entire thing is a mess. And I thought the title of the video was called, he called Larry Elder Uncle Tom. I'm like, what? He did what? Except no, he did not do that. He was not stupid enough to do that at least. So that's good. But all in all, this was a good listen, you know, from what I have heard of it. With that being said, my name is Jay Dottie. If you actually did like the video, like and subscribe. Peace.